Welcome guys, Brandon here from Terminated Gaming, and once again, we're back on Transport Fever 2 with the long-awaited restart, as in, I told you last week, and decided to stop and shut up and just let it play some music to end off that, well, failed experiment. But we've learned a lot from that, to put it nicely. So we're going to take that knowledge and transport it over to this new one. Yeah, I see what I did there? No? Okay. Yeah, you can boo me all you want in the comments. So we're going to take a lot of the ideas and problems that we faced in the previous iteration of this map and redo it into this one and see what we can do. So previous problems that arised, one of them that we didn't see in the videos, because I did actually just decide those other ones I was going to just restart and not put you guys through a series that's basically the last episode was the one that I was talking about, because, you know, it's kind of boring to talk about something that's not getting actively progressed on, whereas this one is. Anyways, going back to what I was saying. Problems that we saw arise in that. Transport issues and traffic issues. So traffic was getting really bad in large portions of the two cities. Granted, the original city, Brandenburg itself, had, I think, population of like 5,000 by the end of the last one. Not the one that you guys saw, but the one that I worked on. So to remedy that, I'm going to create these highways, which they'll change a little bit here and there, but basically we're going to utilize more one-ways and through passages, so that way if they don't want to go and stop somewhere, they can kind of bypass it and then get there faster. Along with everybody's, all Americans' favorites, that's sarcasm for those of you that don't know sarcasm, but I know my sarcastic voice sounds just like my normal voice. Anyways. Everyone's favorite roundabouts. We're going to do, or traffic circles, whatever you may happen to call it. Just a circle that allows traffic to go around. We're going to use those to also kind of help alleviate traffic congestion, which comes from traffic lights, which was the main problem in the previous iteration, I believe. Plus, there was a lot of traffic trying to go, but there was only like 2 cities, so traffic's all going like the same direction to everything. So the solution there is to create more roads and more ways of transportation. So, as you can see, we actually still have the port, but you also saw me place a cargo terminal like right off the port, and it's actually a terminus, which I said in the last series I really didn't want to do terminus stations, but I'm making an exception in this case, because a through station there really can't make sense or work if you kind of look at the location of where it's at. In order to make that work, we would have had to use trucks, and then it's inefficient, and then there's more traffic. So that station is going to go up to where originally, like, our first city in the old series was, or our second city, sorry, was in the old series, and it's going to collect goods all along that way and then come back, and so that way we alleviate the dockyard. The dockyard still is going to be used for sending that processed goods, so it's going to be steel and lumber coming from over there, and it's going to send it across, like we did in the last series, to, or what we transferred from Brandenburg to across the lake or river to the other side, and that's going to process those into tools and machinery to send back. So they're still going to have docks, because they're going to be one of the main forms of transportation, because one of the mods I added back in, or added after, I still don't have that subscriber's name. I feel really bad about that. I need to remember to add it as a comment on the previous video, and then also I'll add it as a comment again in this one. So thank you for, you know, talking about adding some mods to the game. And so one of them was I added expanded cargo capacity on ships, so that way the ships could carry a lot more, which made it more feasible. Granted, a lot of it's processed goods and not raw materials, and raw materials seem to take up more space because you need more of them to turn into the... Anyways. So Brandenburg itself here, I don't know if we already did it or not. It's kind of hard because this is sped up 4 times, so each video I record is an hour long, and then you guys get to see it in about 15 minutes. So at the bottom near the dock, there's actually two transport. I don't know what they call them. Transport stations. Like they're like the tram stations, but for cargo stations. There's two of them. One of them is going to be for local traffic, so stuff that's getting delivered into Brandenburg itself, and then one of them is going to be with semi-transportation that will transport it longer distances if it needs to. And maybe we turn that transport into something where we can send raw materials somewhere else, you know. Maybe. We'll see. And then the trains that run along the line are actually going to do that same main line idea that we had before. And I've added stations in a way that hopefully throughput can still happen. I know for a fact, though, when I did it on the station that I add in the next episode, that station doesn't have throughput, and like all of the cargo down south doesn't have any throughput. Main reason it doesn't need throughput is it terminates at Brandenburg, and the station that would need throughput really doesn't need throughput, in my opinion, for the way it's going to be running. I don't know. We'll see if that becomes a problem, but there's enough room down there we could do throughput. I just have to modify the station. And here we're going to spend some time. This is another mod that I got, was these modular station roofs, which is actually really cool, and it's going to make this station look amazing. But like I said, this station is going to incorporate the idea of having the throughputs in the station, so that way trains can go through the station instead of having to stop at the station. Even though really most of the trains are going to stop at the station, it's going to be a transit, a hub. Sorry, there we go. That's what I was thinking. Not the hub, but a hub of this area. So here you see me doing the throughputs, and then also there's two-sided stations here. So we actually have room for 4 trains, and we could actually do them from both sides, both directions. And we get this nice, awesome modular roof. That mod is amazing, this modular glass roof for train stations. So the main thing once you build your throughput line is you need to create the throughput lines first, so you can connect all your stations to them. And then you can do all like the jump off points, so that way they can transfer across lines, and you got to figure out how you're going to do the one ways, and yeah. It's difficult because you're also going to have trains that are going to go head to head in some situations. The main thing is you don't want to have a train coming into the station while another train's trying to leave it on the same route, which you'll see more of a problem with, I think, next episode in the cargo section. I have a problem with a train that does that. My philosophy for how I build these stations and how I build and prioritize which direction, I prioritize you want to get onto the main line as fast as possible. So basically, if you're leaving the station, you want to be able to leave as fast as possible and be on the right side of the track. Right side for me, because I figured that was easier since right side of the road, but I think it's actually reversed technically in trains. I think they actually travel on the left. I might be mistaken. The train stations of my old hometown have been long gone for many years. Like, we don't have nearly the extent that we used to. So here's what I'm talking about with the main line, but it's not really going to have that throughput on that station because I really didn't see a need for it, mainly because we have trains coming from both directions that are stopping at that station, not going through that station. But I did think about actually adding, because there will be a city way north of this location here, and having that train with the goods just go all the way up through the extra one, because where the raw materials come down to this processing area is actually I put a throughput on that because I figured that was going to connect with the main line from the passenger rail up that way. So then you need to have that connection point. I don't know how to do that right off the top of my head. That's going to take a lot of experimentation on how to get two main lines to connect so you actually could travel the same direction. I don't know. Maybe it won't be as difficult as I'm making it out to be, but I don't know. I haven't done it before. We didn't do it in the last series. Maybe I'll do a trial, like, off camera and, like, try to figure out how to do it. I did also download another mod that has a whole bunch of other industry, but the thing is I can't automatically select that industry for towns with the town creator. So, and I don't know if I randomly generate a town, if it would actually generate those, like have the town generate with random goods, if it would actually generate with these new ones from that industry. I'll have to do some looking into that. It wasn't a big deal because Brandenburg was only going to have tools and machines as its goods because that was the one that made sense to use for that city. And I noticed this like when I play the game as I zoom across the map really quick, and a lot of the times I just do it for no rhyme or reason, and it looks really bad on camera. So I do apologize. I should try to work on doing that so I'm not like hurting everybody's like eyes while watching the footage. But yeah, I don't think about it when I'm doing it. This will change. Not necessarily like how they get to that roundabout section there, but that northern path road, I'm going to actually change that to be more square. Because the grids for that city is going to be way worse than what it is for Brandenburg itself. Because Brandenburg itself is we're like really trying to essentialize that we want it to be efficient. Whereas that other city, I really acted like I didn't care. Well, mainly it's because I was just throwing those two industries in, but we will do something like this for most of the cities in this. Or hopefully I do this. This is kind of time consuming to plan out like how you want roads, because the city's still going to spawn organic roads as the city grows. And like things will change. Like these are right now in the center of the city where that tram hub is actually highway, and highways can't have industry spawn on it, or any residential, commercial industry. None of that can spawn on the highway roads. Which then I thought about it. It's like it's going to leave this really odd gap because I didn't space the roads enough, so that way something can spawn a road and they could build up to the highway basically. So I'm going to change that eventually to one-way city roads, three-lane city roads, and let the town grow on those. But mostly it's, like I said in previous, I'm going to try to limit the pollution problem, which comes from using transportation, and have all the industry spawn closer to the dock, which doesn't start off in our favor. Of course it wouldn't. And we'll have all the commercial along the main roads with residential behind that. So hopefully the commercial will eat up the pollution and the residential won't have any problem. So you're seeing me delete large swaths of this city. I'm doing that just so that way I can force the town to grow in a way that I'd like it to grow. And also I need to do my patented, not really, but how I always say it is the pruning of the town and getting it to grow the way you want it. So the commercial needs to move north, and then the industry needs to move south, and the residential's fine. But eventually I'm going to try to shift that bottom left residential, because the industry will probably take up most of that lower part, move that residential up north. But that'll take some time. So I'm working on the truck routes and all that, so I can get all that stuff, implemented, along with the two tram lines, which will be the railroad and the dock. Eventually the trams will run the outskirts of the city as well, but the thing is I have to wait for the city to grow so I can figure out if I need buses to take passengers from the bus to the tram, and then have the trams to be the main form of transportation around the city. Like I said, it's a learning process, see as we kind of go type problem. And another thing that I'm concerned with that I've noticed, at least in this, watching it back, and I might have noticed it at the time too, was that train station, I don't think can actually access all of the dock. So I'm wondering if goods coming in on that far cargo dock will actually be affected by the train, or even the trucks too, for that matter. So I'm trying to build out this truck route. Eventually, like I said, that truck route needs to move over to the other side as well. It'll also need to move north too, because the commercial will be all along the main roads. So that way, like I said, pollution's a big problem. So here's that dock. This will also be another city, so it has a passenger ferry and we'll use the tugboats with their long cargo holds to send these goods back and forth, but there will be a city up here, so it's just generic build right now, and not a huge amount of effort. So, we're nearing the end of this episode, so I hope you guys have enjoyed. If so, rating me much appreciated. Comment down below what you'd like to see in the future, and I will catch you guys on the next episode. Peace out.
Shut up and sit down.